In my first installment of Reading Cranford, I picked a couple different passages that really stood out to me that both showed how women of the society were at the time, as well as ones that just kind of gave me a good laugh. The first one that I thought really stood out to be what women had to go through and how perspectives were changing was on page 48, and we had almost persuaded ourselves that to be a man was to be vulgar. And I think that kind of emphasizes how ideas were changing in both like the feminism and in how women were expanding in their ideas and their places in society in regards to men. And though it is kind of funny, it really shows like things are changing, but in a humorous way. The second one refers to the Hebrew prophetess on page 55. And it's discussing how I think she took the Hebrew prophetess for a model and character, and indeed she was not unlike the stern prophetess in some ways, making allowances, of course, for modern customs and differences in dress. And so this refers to Deborah, and she was the only female judge of Israel. And that's a really big deal, especially being referred to her because seeing as Deborah is the only woman ever to get that title, then it shows how, again, like with the feminist movements of how women are finding their place in a man's world, essentially, that they are beginning to really get a position and different place, but more than just a different place in society, a prominent place that is important and holds position. Right, the third passage that, again, much like the first one, was funny, but it really shows how women had to deal with their emotions. And it goes, "Jenny, don't waste time in crying, but tell us something." And that shows how restricted they were to just holding in their emotions. And it kind of struck me when I read it, and I thought how crazy that that's what they're telling her is, you know, someone just died, but whatever, don't cry about it, tell us what happened. But it's true, like, people had to do that. People had to hold in their emotions to be a part of, not only a part of society, I guess, but to really fit in and kind of go into that cookie cutter shape form of a sense. Okay, so the next one, I just thought was really pretty, the way that it was written. "Miss Jessie had been feeling this all during the silence. I think for the tears rolling down her cheeks like rain," at these words. And I really like the tears rolling down her cheeks like rain. That's a beautiful descriptive of the emotions that she's feeling, because it's so pure and innocent and silent that everything kind of stands still when it rains. And to describe someone crying as though it's raining, it's heartbreaking. You really feel her emotion. Alright, so the last one that I got was purely just funny, and it was on page 47. "Do you ever see cows dressed in grey flannel in London?" And I have a question for that. Do you ever see cows dressed in grey flannel anywhere? Food for thought.